To my left, there came clouds and bright white, orange, and golden light. I turned my head, and there came a man out of these clouds, with other beings behind him a short distance away. He was wearing an orange and rust-colored robe over a cream-colored robe, like Jesus.
Hello, and welcome to Spirit Travels, where we narrate the extraordinary experiences of people who have glimpsed the other side of death. My name is Maureen, and I will be your narrator on this journey. If you enjoy this content, please make sure to like and subscribe to support our channel. Now let's begin.
I had been drinking heavily for days, with little or no sleep. I felt horrible about myself and had given up hope. I wanted to die. I had a business, my child, and all the material things I wanted at the time. My esophagus was starting to rupture. I had an ulcer, and I was so past drunk that no amount of alcohol could make me feel drunk, and the thought of the hangover if I quit drinking unnerved me. I was desperate. After a night of drinking, I passed out and woke up an unknown amount of time later in my room, on my bed, around morning. I tried to get up, but my heart was pounding fiercely, and I was passing out. I tried several times to get up, thinking that I just needed to drink a beer or some wine to get to feeling better. I was feeling worse than I've ever felt before, like I was having the worst hangover of my life. But I did not care about getting up to get a drink after a time, and I was just lying there. To my left, there came clouds and bright white, orange, and golden light. I turned my head, and there came a man out of these clouds, with other beings behind him a short distance away. He was wearing an orange and rust-colored robe over a cream-colored robe, like Jesus. I remember thinking that the colors were not what I would have expected. This man had collar-length brown hair and a closely trimmed beard and a mustache. The most remarkable feature about him was his eyes. The thought of his eyes brings me to tears sometimes. They were very large and very brown, and he seemed to speak through them, the supreme compassion, patience, indescribable love, joy, and a complete acceptance of me just the way I was. I also felt that I had, and I always had, his complete devotion and attention. He simply looked at me, and though he did not speak, he asked me, "Do you want to come with us now, or stay and fix your life?" Then he just waited, smiling at me, gazing at me while I considered the questions in my life. There was so much I wanted to do, and I thought of my daughter. I was very aware that if I wanted to go with him, it would have been an acceptable choice to him, but the decision was mine. At the moment of my decision to stay and fix my life, I was aware that I was never alone, and that I would have all the help I needed to get through my life and do what I needed to do. I remember the certainty of that, and an overwhelming presence of God and of this man that was looking at me with such total love. It felt like my soul expanded with every second in his presence. When I told him, without words, that I wanted to stay, he smiled, beamed at me, and turned around and walked back into the clouds. I was able to get up with no heart pounding or hangover, and made phone calls to my mother, who called a woman in AA to talk to me. I called an AA center and talked to a friend of mine who happened to answer the phone. This friend of my mom's and the friend of mine told me how to taper off the alcohol to help me with the withdrawals. I asked my mother to come over, and she did. I was sober for about 20 minutes to do all of this, and then I spent the next 5 days in and out of consciousness, having very bad withdrawals. But I remembered the man and the promise that I would have the strength and the help I needed. On the 5th day, I went to my first AA meeting. August 28, 1989, and have been sober ever since, remembering that I am not alone and that I chose to be here to fix my life.